Okay. Hello, everybody. Tonight is June 24th,
And Tor's
2016.
birthday!
It's Tor's birthday.
Go home!
Happy birthday, Console!
I'm always T-Bone. To my side is JT and Benthans and Shadow, and below me are Ninja and Tornsol, the birthday boy. What year is it this year, Tornsol?
I don't know.
How many?
It's 2016.
No, how many years old is it this year?
It's 43.
43.
It's a shame. I only feel 65, so I'm good.
Not dead yet.
No. Still got a pulse and everything.
So we have a few pieces of news tonight. The first up, the Mighty Number 9 has released. Has anybody seen anything about this game?
I've heard mixed reviews.
I've heard terrible reviews myself.
I have friends that have been playing it, and some find it interesting, and some find it horrible.
It looks like a bad Mega Man reskin.
It's a spiritual successor to Mega Man is what it's supposed to be. It's a Kickstarter game. Apparently the credits are nearly 4 hours long because they thank every single of the 70,000 Kickstarter backers.
And you can't skip it.
You can't? Yeah, I'm assuming you can skip it.
Out of control. So quick.
Apparently it's like the joke is it's almost as long as the game is.
Probably longer than the game.
No, I don't think it's that bad. Apparently,
4 hours? 4 hours? Really?
But the game was pushed back so long, you'd think it would have a lot of gameplay.
You could put like bricks of people. You don't have to do each individual person.
I think it was a
Maybe they
co-optional.
did
I think it was a co-optional podcast I was watching, and I can't remember the guy's name. He had played it last year at E3, and he said at that time he was like, "Be happy it got delayed because it was not good," and it was like no different than it was at E3 last year. So he was like, "It's just not good." But the reviews I've been reading, the most of the time, it's in a 5 to 6 out of 10 range, which is not good. So people are super pissed about it.
Really, when you think about it, and I hate to say it this way, but it's Mega Man. It's a Mega Man clone. I think speedrunners are beating some of the Mega Mans in like 5 minutes. They're not exactly robust games. They're not exactly strategic, games. They're pretty much very cut and paste, easy to do games. So, I mean, I don't know what you'd expect from what is basically a spiritual successor of it.
If you're speedrunning Mega Man games, you need to have strategy to do it. So kind of is strategic.
Well, I'm not saying the aspect of speedrunning. I'm saying that the games aren't exactly robust. It's not like you're going to be getting 12 hours of gameplay out of a Mega Man. Even back in the day, that was a little bit, they're not a game that's really like we'll use like a Witcher where you can just time dump a shit ton of time into it. You know what I mean? They're very simplistic and basically just a platformer. So it's not like you should be surprised the game's not 20 hours long. It's not a Final Fantasy. Yeah.
The length. Yeah. And it's a Kickstarter game for the other.
I did see some people on Twitch playing a game called it's like 20XX or something like that.
Yeah, I heard about that as well.
Probably the same thing, but I don't know how
it's getting rated.
Yeah, I mean, apparently it's very positive on Steam from what I'm seeing now.
It's on sale right now, I think.
Yeah, and it's 25% off, $9, and it's co-op, so that's kind of cool.
Speaking about retro games, on Tuesday, my little birthday shindig I'm doing at a barcade, which is actually pretty cool. It's like
cool.
All the arcade games there are free as long as you got a beer or something in your hand.
That's neat.
And she's like, why is that not?
That would never survive around here. There's just not enough people.
Quarter in a pool of vomit. We'd be flicking quarters at him. Get up.
Just the last piece on the 4 hour credit. Apparently, a whole shit ton of they like list every name. A whole shit ton of them are listed as a generous backer. They didn't group in, 20,000 people generous backers. They just listed every generous backer and their number next to it. So it's like people are like, what is this?
I wonder if they took like a script or something and just like that copied and pasted.
They did.
Yes, like an Excel spreadsheet, and they just copied and pasted it. Yeah.
Instead of like trimming it down to how many people are labeled as generous backer.
Yeah. alphabetize it, and boom, there you go.
Of
It
course,
takes 10
we
minutes.
do live in such a litigious society that it could be that they did that because if they said 3,500 generous, somebody might have went, hey, I was number 55, and I don't like the fact that I was piled in with the rest of them. I deserve my own.
Dude, feel free to tell those people to shut the fuck up.
I was generous backer.
Those should not have a
I was
platform.
sitting back there in one. What the hell?
I was generous backer number 3,000, 33,542, and my number didn't show up or whatever.
Exactly.
They're all numbered. They're only on there.
They're all crap.
Yeah. So, funny.
Maybe pick it up during a Humble Bundle because I have a feeling that's going to join like a Capcom Humble Bundle or some shit like
And
that.
you all shake your heads when I said that, but you all kind of nodded too, going, yeah, somebody probably would have done that. So
It's potential, or at least they wanted to, maybe not for litigious reasons, just because they said, this is what we're
I
gonna
could
do.
see a lawsuit going on because this is America, motherfucker.
yeah, it's like I said, yeah.
That's just...
We'll get to more.
Sue over the stupidest things. Going off of that, anyhow.
Quit giving them ideas.
We'll get to more crazy lawsuits in a little bit, so don't spoil the fun. Valve is offering an interesting thing to VR developers. They're offering to help fund their game to avoid platform exclusives, and the way it works is they're essentially giving them a loan to be paid back at a later date with their Steam revenue. So it sort of works through their Steam revenue is how they slowly pay it back. And that's to try and stop exclusive titles from being on one thing rather than the other. I don't think there's anything written into it that says it has to be non-exclusive, but that's the idea. It's kind of an interesting idea.
Well, speaking about the exclusive things, I read a short article. Lucky, the guy that backer or creator of the Oculus Rift and everything, the one that kind of pushed it forward, he spoke out about that, and he says he's okay with it because consoles do it anyhow, so why not drive the market to different ones?
Well, he got bought by Facebook, so
Yeah, I know. He's got a lot.
he's going to say whatever they tell him to say.
Probably, but
As soon as Facebook bought it, I think almost everybody was like, what's this going to do to the Oculus
a
Rift?
lot of people actually wanted their money back.
That wouldn't surprise me. Not at all. And they've done some shitty things already. Apparently, remember we talked about it a couple weeks ago where they put that DRM thing in where the people who made the Revive had to then make it so that you could just straight up pirate games by using the Revive programming. They took that out without really even telling anybody. So they put it in without telling anybody, then they took it out. So now the Revive can work without making it so that it's so easy to pirate. But it still has the DRM in the games.
Proprietary. It must be played here or nowhere else.
Right.
Well, that was one of the original things about the Oculus Rift 2. It was supposed to be open source. It was supposed to be, that was part of it.
Yeah, but that changed as soon as Facebook got their hands.
As soon as Facebook bought it, yeah.
Well, that's why they were so mad. I can imagine.
Right,
that's why.
yeah. No, absolutely.
So mad.
I mean, we can thank the Oculus because they really sort of jump-started the whole VR thing that's going on right now.
Well, I
I mean,
guess-
maybe they were already trending that way, but it seems like everybody was like, oh, VR, yeah, we can do it now, and then other people started jumping on.
Yeah, Oculus kind of pushed out, and then Squadron 42 or Star Citizen or whatever kind of pushed it even further because of the whole kickstarting of Star Citizen.
Well, the
And
sim community, the hardcore flight sim community, has always been pushing for some type of
Yeah.
VR headset. They've always been pushing the technology for the Track IR and some of the other stuff as well. So they really wanted the Oculus Rift, and a lot of the hardcore sim community, whether it's the flight sims or anything like that, particularly flight sims, want that type of immersion. I mean, you're talking about people that literally build cockpits to fly planes in.
I don't know.
So-
I've seen people do truck pits.
Yeah.
Cockpits.
Yeah. So I'll still go back to say that it's one of those things where I really am still concerned about it. To me, it's very fad right now, and I think there's a lot of people out there that are really buying into it to a point, but everybody's going proprietary. Everybody's trying to say, well, we're going to make our VR set, but it's only going to work for the ones that we say it's going to work for, and that's not going to push the development market anywhere. If something does come out, it's not going to be functional. So I still think that the technology out there will eventually, the modding community will do what they always do, take that tech and make it work for what they want to make it work with. primarily with games that are open source that they can do their own programming for using that tech. But I don't think it's going to become commonplace. I think it's like we talked a few weeks ago. It's oversaturation. Everybody and their brother's doing it right now, and nobody's developing games.
There's going to be a bubble and it's going to pop.
Yeah, so it's but no games. It doesn't matter how good the tech is. If there's no reason to play it, it's not going to happen. Now we talked about the porn industry. That's a different story. But for gaming, I think it's still going to be modder only. I think it's the modders are going to really push it for the simulation games, but I don't see it really taking hold like they're advertising it.
I don't know. I think there's going to be a huge push with horror games for one. You know that horror games are going to be one of the biggest ones. Once they start making real games, I mean, there's not many real games on the VR stuff right now. There's a few, but not many. Most of them are just sort of like, this is what you can do with it.
Resident Evil 7 might be one of the first ones that does that.
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah.
They had people playing it on VR at E3.
They said it's really bad though, like it makes them sick.
Yeah, and I heard one person was saying they thought maybe because they were using the controllers to look around, and he was starting to get sick. But once he started actually using his head to look around, they started to feel better. But yeah, people were getting sick playing it. They were getting the VR sickness.
Just giving people a big old Dramamine template when they.
You get a lifetime supply when it comes with your VR headset.
Another fun thing about a VR, Razer spoke out and they're creating their own headset as well. I think it was
everybody is
priced it. The leaked price right now is $399, so it's a lot cheaper than the Rift and a lot cheaper than the Vive. But
it's still out of market price though for your average. I mean, even for average PC gamers, that's still way out of market.
Yeah, but it's drop in price by at least 100 to 200 from the Oculus. But it goes down to what's the hardware specs.
Yeah, but you still got to have something to run it too.
So you got to have something to run. And like I said, if you're gonna drop $400 for a fucking VR headset, you want something to use it for. And the games that are out right now that are like on Steam and some of the early access stuff, nothing looks worth it. Nothing makes
you don't like shooting plates. Who doesn't like shooting plates?
Like I said, until it gets down to the price of a mouse or a keyboard, where it's like $100, and there's a game market for it, I don't see it being very effective.
I don't see it dropping down to 100. I can see it dropping down to 200, 300.
The cost of a monitor.
Yeah, a high-end monitor.
If it came with controllers, maybe.
Yeah, like I said, maybe that's the aspect of it too. If they actually get it to the point where it's actually like, hey, it replaces the need for a monitor, then yes, I could see it maybe pushing the market. But if that's the case, then it's not going to be really, because then it's just going to be how many games are really going to be full VR, and it's just going to be more of a monitor unit. And even then, $400 is expensive for a monitor.
I don't know about you guys, but I live in 3D, so it's not that big of a leap for me.
Okay, old man.
You don't live in 3D.
Maybe in your day you lived in 3D.
I live in the 2D world with my wifey.
It's still one of those things though, where it's just there's going to have to be something that sells the technology. If just because the tech is all this neat stuff and they're showing these little demo videos and you're seeing the idiots running around in their living rooms like acting like they're falling because something's attacking them and shit like that, it's funny to watch, but it's cliche. It's something where you play that game once or twice and then it's no longer fun anymore. So it's just while that's there's something to it, but until there's something that like really.
Oh, come on. I'm sure there's plenty of investors whose little pancakes loves VR.
Until you have, like, Benthans, I can't think of the anime right now, but until you have, like, when something like that comes out, that will completely make it everybody will have it. It'll be the next
Until the Oasis comes.
Yeah, it'll be the next Warcraft. But I'm saying it has to have the hardware might be fantastic until there's software to utilize it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, absolutely.
It doesn't matter.
I would love a full dive system. Oh my god.
I think that's every gamer's like dream to a point. I mean, really.
Motherfucker, I'm an orc. Let's do this shit.
But I mean, that's the software that is needed to push VR to the next level. And we're not even talking about VR flailing your arms around crazy shit. We're talking about just an immersive rig that locks you into the game and you're. Yeah.
A haptic feedback.
You're talking about the
all of us
Matrix.
with VR headsets on.
Oh.
Hey, you guys there? Hey!
In the anime, it's called the Nerve Gear, where it reads your brainwaves and everything, and kind of like.
It doesn't even have to be that technology.
I know, but I was explaining it to Outlaw.
Oh, okay.
I think I'm curious to see, and it's an interesting time. I'm curious to see what happens when Ready Player One comes out in theaters, what that does to it. Because by that point, we'll have 2 years worth of VR potentially, or a year and a half of VR being in the market, and all of a sudden you have a movie that millions of people are seeing where they're like, "Shit, I want that."
And as always, that's sci-fi is going to drive the technology, and it's going to focus the energy towards a certain direction. So I mean, it's possible to see in the next 10 years something like that really getting pushed. But
Sci-fi has always pushed the tech world.
Without a doubt. And now it's one of the things where it's, it can be achieved a lot quicker to a point, but it's got to be directed. So the more we see stuff like that happen, the more we have the Ready Player Ones, the Sword Art Online, it gives those developers out there an idea of where to move, the direction to go towards. So we'll see what happens. But like I said, until the software is out there to actually utilize the hardware, it don't matter. It really don't.
Cool. EA released some information about Battlefield 1. They're going to have a new game mode called Operations. This is sort of the gist of what Operations is going to work. It's sort of like a rush mode. Think of it that way. The outcome of the current round carries over to the next map, and the battles will take place across several maps based on real battles of World War One. So it sort of sounds like a campaign map in Red Orchestra 1, where in Rush you're pushing forward and one team's defending. So if the attacking team pushes forward until the end of the map and they capture that last objective, then they'll switch maps and you'll start over again. It's kind of a cool idea, I thought. Sort of a retake on the Rush idea.
And I'd say, yeah. I mean, one problem I always had with Rush maps is that they eliminated the flanking ability most of the time. It kind of really narrowed you into a corridor. You had to go in a straight line, and that never works in Battlefield really all that well. But that would be neat. I mean, it would be a neat way to push the maps back and forth, because then you attack and you win, and then the next map, the other team pushes you back, and you're back to the map you were just at. So that would be pretty.
Yeah, I'm not sure 100% how they're going to do it, but it sounds like a cool idea. To have more, influence over how the game is being played.
Going down the line with that could be even at the beginning of a MMO type FPS, where you can kind of push on that and expand on it to where it's like Heroes and Generals tried to do with the whole strategic map, where it's like you could attack and push and eventually take somebody's capital and shit, and that would be like the winning the major campaign. So
the heroes affects how the general side of the game is unfolding. Then they did an interesting way on that game, but I don't know how well everybody thinks that worked. Who played Heroes?
It was an interesting idea. Like it's one of those things where they're a small company. They developed an interesting idea for it, and it's pretty cool.
It's unique for sure.
Yeah. Of course, it's really stupid when you're like on a map and there's literally like 3 armored divisions and you have infantry, and you're just getting destroyed by tanks. But it's stuff like that. They did some weird things where if you didn't have the resources available to you, it was no point in playing that map. So I said we were going to get back to a crazy American lawsuit again. No Man's Sky developers have settled with a lawsuit with Sky TV over the name Sky. Does that mean anytime we say Sky, we have to pay royalty rights now?
They have the name Sky in the game. No Man's Sky.
It sounds like the lawsuit over what was it? Mojang. It took a copyright
Elder or Scrolls,
and then Bethesda's lawyers and everything attacked them, saying you can't do that, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And then Notch spoke out, like, we weren't gonna make you pay or anything. We just were doing this because we were told that was the right decision to do.
And then he got bought by Microsoft, and it didn't matter.
Bethesda's higher ups and everything, I guess, got the lawyers away from it and says they didn't mean that. Then later in Skyrim, guess what? Easter eggs from Notch and Minecraft.
So I'm wondering if maybe that's one of the reasons why the game was delayed, because they were still working on this lawsuit.
It's a good possibility. I mean, if it was still in litigation, it could be where they just they couldn't release it because they were still in litigation.
Yeah.
Because at that point, their name might have been up in the air still.
They
may
started
not have
selling
been
too many
actually-
copies. All of a sudden, they're screwed with how much they have to pay or something like that.
Yeah, so they might have held it back because if they lost or they settled or whatever the situation may be, they might have had to change their name, and in that case, then
My question is, the Sky TV, I take it they have the copyright over Sky already then?
Apparently.
In civil court, it's always you just have to. The burden of proof is extremely narrow. I mean, you really just have to. I don't know. I have no idea about the court case, but my assumption would be that Sky TV probably said that the aspect of using Sky in the name is trying to use the credibility or the credit, the actual namesake and something stupid like that.
They have to defend their
and all they got to do is say that we first were known as Sky TV, and it could be something as stupid as they had something inside the game No Man's Sky that was called Sky TV. It could have been like something in there that had that name, and that would be copyright infringement even if it's not the same. So who knows? But
Either way, it just sounds
stupid shit like that.
It sounds petty.
No, it really was. And I saw another piece of news today. It wasn't really a piece of news. It was sort of saying we don't think we're going to be delaying the game anymore. Probably. That's essentially what the news piece was about it.
You always have to keep in mind, copyright law is some of the most crazy fucking law in the country. So
Newegg, don't go after Newegg though. They will come right back after you. Have you seen any of the stuff about? I love Newegg. Yeah. Oh man, they had somebody who tried to sue them from something stupid, like the checkout basket. I forget exactly what it was. And then when they realized it was Newegg, they tried to pull the lawsuit, and Newegg went after them anyways. Like they are like viciously go after these people. It's great. Next time it comes up, I'll have to talk about it.
I'm glad I shop with them now.
Yeah, no, you have to look it up. They do have done some hilarious things in the past. They do not fuck around with lawsuits. They're so pissed about it. It's funny.
Sometimes that's the best defense. Make it to where you realize it's going to cost you too much money to go through with it. So,
yeah. So Tornzol brought up a lawsuit with
another lawsuit
with Sony. Apparently, and I'll try and get this right. Hopefully, you can correct me if I get it wrong. That Sony had sort of promised or sold the PS3 with the idea that you're going to be able to put any OS you want on it. And then at some point, 2013, something like that. 2010. I'm sorry, 2010. They changed it so you couldn't do that anymore. So there was a lawsuit against them because they backed out on their promises or how it was sold, and they lost. So if you meet a certain number of requirements, you can get either $55, and if you have a lesser set of requirements, you can get $9 from Sony. That's like a $5 million or something like that of up in the air. Oh, no, 2.5 million. 2.25 was for the attorney's fees, but I didn't see how much was involved for the other stuff. But you can get $55. You have to attest under oath.
You have to prove it though.
Yeah, you have to attest under oath to be the purchase of the PS3 between those dates. Proof you installed. It's Linux. That's it. No, nothing else. Proof of purchase, proof of sign-in with ID on system, proof of the use of the other OS's functionality. So you still have to have your PS3. That's essentially what they're
it's
saying.
the Gen 1 one, the fat ones that weren't able to do this.
The old one, yeah.
You mean the one I got behind me?
I can't see it with the blur.
It's back there, but yeah.
In order to get $9, you send in a claim to attest to how and when you bought the system. Claim you knew about the other OS systems and its functionality. Claim you intended to use the functionality of the other OS. So maybe you could do that, Joe. You intended.
I never intended to. I remember.
You
that
could
it was,
claim you intended to and get $9.
It's already on film.
Yeah, I remember that was one of the selling points. I do recall that being a selling point for the original system.
Well, I remember also like looking up online and everything before 2010, before the patch went out, that people were using their PS3s, like mass servering them, turning them into actual like hosting servers through Linux and everything.
Well, that was the point.
Yeah.
It was sold as it was going to have this extra functionality than the other systems because it could handle other operating systems and all the stuff for those.
The PS3 is still a beast. I mean, the processors on it are powerful as hell. You guys were doing folding stuff a few months ago. You got to realize the PS3 has been doing folding since its release.
Well, yeah.
You could actually set your system up to run during downtime to help fold. So, I mean, it is a powerful system. The infrastructure and the tech for it is relatively strong. That's one of the reasons why it was a very hard system to program for during its release, which was one of the reasons why it had such a slow start. But, you know, that's the other reason why the PlayStation 4, their main goal was to make it more programmer friendly. And I think they succeeded in that because has anybody heard anything about the Xbox One? So, yeah. But it's the class action lawsuit. So I don't know how they can define a certain set of money. The more people that claim and prove their claim is legitimate, the less money everybody gets. But the less people that claim and prove it's legitimate, the more they should get, because it's basically the pie is out there, the total pot.
Well, they set a certain number for each claim. It's $55 and $9. So maybe they're just paying it individually, and there was no net amount. The only net amount might have been for the guy's lawyer's fees.
Well, you got to realize any class action lawsuit, you got to realize the more people that are buying into the class action, the less everybody else gets. But if they got, it seems like it's rather stringent. You have to actually prove we're going to be using your system for Linux, and I would assume that majority of people that bought a PlayStation 3 never even thought about running Linux because, let's be honest, most people don't run Linux.
Most people don't know what Linux is.
Yeah, so I mean, I would think that it would be they shouldn't be a set amount. It should be you're going to get a piece of the pie, but yet again, it all depends on the legal, you know.
Yeah, legal. Yeah.
So
I like the way you think, sir.
A lot of legal shit today. What's going on? You know.
Okay, let's move away from this legal stuff and go to the fact that we're gonna go bankrupt because of Steam Summer Sale.
What is it? What is that? What has everybody bought on Steam Summer Sale?
What the hell are you doing, JT?
Huh? Petting my dog.
This is inappropriate. We're wildly inappropriate.
Just look over there, JT.
Is that what you call it? Petting the dog?
Real good.
So weird.
I wasn't even paying attention to how that looks at all.
Dog starts kicking the chair.
Like all I saw was your arm going like this.
Yeah, it's exactly. Yeah, it's just
Petting the
What's going
dog.
on?
Big smile on his face.
So I got Doom. It's 40% off for a game that just came out. That was a ridiculous deal. I may get Witcher 3. I'm not sure.
everybody's getting Witcher.
Well, that's like 50% off. More, I think.
See, there's the dog.
Yeah.
They also have, I think, a bundle for it where you get the game and the newest DLC, and I think you're paying,
For $50.
which is not bad.
Yeah, no. I'll probably just buy the base game.
And because the DLC itself is another full game.
I bought the DLC. I already had that game.
It's a huge game.
Witcher?
Witcher, never mind.
Yeah, The Witcher.
Witcher, yeah.
What do you think we're talking about, dog?
Doom.
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 Yeah,
I ain't wasting my money on that either.
I'm waiting for it to go, like an October sale.
it'll be like $5, and then it's already 40% off. The game's been out for like a month. All right, that should tell you about how effective or how good this game actually is.
The multiplayer sucks.
$14.99 by
The multiplayer sucks, but we talked about it a few weeks ago.
The single player is supposed to be fantastic.
It is taking over the multiplayer again, so they may fix it.
I did buy Resident Evil 0 because it was cheap. Because I never played it. I've never played it before.
I saw that they were doing something with
Resident Evil
Resident.
Zero is just a remake of the original Resident Evil, right?
No. This is the one where they're in the train.
The train.
With Billy and Rebecca. It was a GameCube game.
Ooh, okay.
I might get Stardew Valley. It's like $11.
I was looking at that. I was thinking of getting it too.
It's like a fun little RPG.
It's one of the few Steam games to have overly positive reviews.
Yeah,
How many reviews though?
A lot.
I've heard it's a good game. I have heard it's a very good
Fine, a
game.
lot.
Like all of them?
Like all of them. Like nerdy. So the dev team says the game's great. Congratulations.
100 million.
So many, your mind would go boom.
Problem is that I own a lot of the games that are.
It's the same
publisher that did Terraria, I think, isn't it?
Oh, that's interesting.
But it's a single. The actual developer is a lone person, so that's why it took so long to come out. But it's basically a successor to Harvest Moon and all that stuff. Once he had like the original game out and everything, he was going to work on the multiplayer mod or addition, not mod, addition to the game, so you can actually create a server and play with people.
Interesting.
So it's not just like farming simulator like how Harvest Moon, like you fight, go into dungeons, mines, and you can actually pick up a sword and fight slimes, and
So it's Terraria.
but not side-scrolling like that.
Yeah. It's like a top-down RPG style.
It's
That's all-
Harvest Moon style,
Yeah.
but deeper. I have a lot of people that love it, and I'm thinking about picking up because of just kind of like the hype. It's like there's a huge hype for it, and I'm interested in it.
Yeah, I've seen clips. It looks like a fun game.
He's already made his profit for how much time he put in. He built it on, I think, like Microsoft's Game Studio or something like that.
RPG Maker.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, probably. There's a lot, how many Steam games are on, or how many Steam?
You really don't want an answer to that.
No, I don't want to know.
How many greenlit games? Yeah. I saw that Firewatch was on sale for $13. That's getting close to what it's probably worth. I played that game on stream one night. It wasn't worth $20. I liked it. It was fun. The voice acting is great, but it's probably worth more like 10. So you may want to wait on that one. But yeah, I got Doom. I also got a couple of the old Genesis games, Sega, to play with Piper on.
Please tell me I had Golden Axe. Please tell me I had Golden Axe.
I got Golden Axe.
Yes!
I did. I got Golden Axe.
Streets of Rage, Gunstar Heroes,
I
Altered
think
Beast.
I think Street of Rages was on there. They had Echo the Dolphin. I didn't get that because I
You
think
got
that
the
might
pack,
be.
and then you...
No, I only got 2 games. I forget what I got. Golden Axe. I forget what the other one was. I got stuff that I thought that maybe she would be able to handle.
Jet Set Radio Future. That was on
It's an Xbox game.
No, it was on the Dreamcast first.
Oh, same thing.
It was just bundled onto the
Title
Xbox.
for Dreamcast. It was one of their premier titles, along with like Street Fighter or something or other.
Virtual Fighter.
Virtual Fighter. That's it. Virtual Fighter. They're all the
That-
same fucking thing.
That then moved over to the Xbox because Dreamcast was way ahead of its time then.
I saw that Dead by Daylight was on the Steam sale, and it just came out. I did read that it is profitable after 1 week. They've sold 270,000 units of that game. What did everybody? We played that. What did you guys think about it?
Monster's broken as fuck.
I never got to be the monster.
I didn't really enjoy it terribly.
You guys only played like a game or 2 of it, and then we're like, "Oh, let's go play Overwatch."
Because it wasn't that good.
I personally enjoy it. Like, I don't think you saw most of the game, so
The map was the same.
You can't group with your friends very easily. There's no in-game voice chat. Like it's not done. There's a lot of stuff they need to add to the
Oh,
game.
it was
still.
beta. Well, we played beta. So
Yeah, but it released in the same way that the beta was.
Yeah,
It's
it wasn't
been
really
released.
a beta. It was just a look.
It was a demo.
Twitch
Yeah.
streamers are showing it. Let's see if we can get some early sales.
It's hide and seek, essentially. That's the game.
I can't say I was really impressed with it all at all. I mean, it seemed very basic. I think we've had a lot. I think Damned was a lot more fun because the environments were a hell of a lot more.
It was a lot more unique.
And it was also random on who the monster was.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't. That's one of the things that gets me. You can't join with your friends and then just join a game. One person has to be all right. I'm going to be the monster, and then you invite your friends to that game. That's That's something that should have been implemented when the game was released. Apparently, it's very buggy. I didn't play long enough to see.
Also, it should be more than just 4 or 3. Is it what 3 humans and then 1 monster? Or was it 4 monsters or 4 humans and 1 monster?
4
Poor
humans,
humans.
1 monster.
I think.
Go ahead, Ben.
I just think it should have more humans. I don't know.
To me, the thing was that it seemed.
not challenging at all.
The thing with me was I think it was just it needed to have less actual. The map seemed really, really small, and it seemed like it was more along the lines of it was way too easy for the monster to literally just. You could sit in certain areas and completely fucking destroy the other team. You know what I mean? Most of the time, it came down to a monster taking 3 people out and then trying to hunt down the last person. And that seemed really kind of meh.
Also, I got injured once, and I was not able to click on any of the energy things. So I literally just could hobble around, and that was it. I wasn't able to do
That
anything.
was a bug.
We also found
It's
out
buggy.
that Outlaw,
There you go.
Outlaw had very little problem evading you while he was injured that one time.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't know. It's an interesting idea, but I think it goes back to like that.
Well, they've already put in new monsters, new maps. They're working on the game, so it's not bad. They're taking advice from people that are playing it. So
I would like to see a
It was
high-
released too early. Then, if they're releasing new monsters within a week of release, it was released too early.
Well, there was supposed to be 3 from the start, I thought.
well, it just came out. Yeah. So
I would like to see from a high. Oh, hey, Refly. I would like to see a game that comes out like a hide and seek based horror game. That would be more like it also benefits a little bit of the runner, the hider, but not completely. Like so, if the monster comes up and tries to swing, you have a chance to dodge that swing, not by like a dodge roll, but like an indicator. You have a split second click. Like you have to hit A or a certain sequence to dodge.
Quick time event. Fuck no.
I'm not saying
Yeah.
it slows down time. I'm
I think
saying
it should be like little
A
flash
pops
bangs
up.
or like
I-
gas bombs or
I
something.
would
or
say-
maybe you can have an ability that lets you kick.
I would go with the aspect that I think Damned got it right.
see, there are tools in the game though that you guys haven't seen. Like flashlights can stun the monster. Like toolkits can get rid of the hooks.
I watched some Twitch stuff on it. It wasn't just the few rounds that I played.
Well, it's like I saw some of the stuff because you could search the boxes, but it's like you gotta get at the same things. It's hard to get the boxes when you're getting chased. I think Dam did it right. Dam has like roughly the same type of system, but the monsters aren't always there, and if they are, they're not that kind of like knockdown, fuck you up instantly type thing. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
It's like you can.
It's easier to run away.
It's easier to run away, and there's the scare aspect is that if you're dumb or you're stupid or you make a mistake, you're going to die. And that's like the constant pressure that's building up because you know what you have to do. But the monster doesn't necessarily know exactly where you are, and if they are, they can't always kill you. Like the little chick, she can fucking follow you around, but she only can attack you when she gets that berserk fucking mode going on, right? So it's like there's always the way to run away. There's always the way. It builds that pressure. In that game, there really is no fear. It's like, oh, great, I'm being chased, and then I'm going to get hit with a machete, and I get dragged over to a hook. It kind of really felt like really just cheesy,
And you can hear the heartbeat picking up, and
Yeah, and it's like what I had a lot more scare with Damned in the aspect that even with the fucking monster with the one that's invisible that can appear, for
yeah, I was like, pops up in your face.
that thing's more freaky when it pops up and chases you down, and you're trying to slam a door and it's coming behind you. That's more like a oh god moment.
Yeah.
Guy with the machete following you around in the woods trying to hit you with the machete. It didn't really have that like oh god fucking kind of scare moment.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Also, there's way too many hooks.
Yeah, there's a lot of hooks.
Or it might have felt like a lot of hooks due to the fact how small the map was.
Yeah, like I said, the maps felt really small. Maybe if they had less hooks, maybe if they had like 3 total hooks on the map, 3, and then the last person had to be killed, just knocked down, and that was it. They would lose. That would make it more interesting because then it's like the monster would actually have to work for the kills. But every time you got somebody ninja, it was like game over. It was literally like.
Well, to be fair, I mean, I knew what I was doing going into it, and you guys had no clue what was going on.
I never found the exit. I don't know what exit y'all were talking about. I never saw an exit.
That trapdoor is a lie. It's a trap.
Yeah, and I ran around for like 15 minutes that one map trying to find that trap door. And eventually, I just went, I'm going to let you kill me because I couldn't find that shit. So
I remember that. I was spectating.
Yeah. I mean, it was, I guess, somewhat enjoyable, but I just feel like it wasn't completed. It wasn't done. There was pieces missing. Especially the voice. No in-game voice. That's almost a requirement,
Calm down.
So, I'm getting excited.
Next time I'll just use my voice marker.
Yeah, to get another thing Damned has, which was really cool.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the guy that plays the monster in-game voice sounds fucked up.
Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah, you can fuck with the shit because I was having a great time doing it that one.
You can pitch it up or pitch it down. It's fun.
Yeah.
A piece of news for Torn Soul: American Truck Simulator is getting a change in scale from 1 to 35 scale to 1 to 20 scale, meaning 75% longer roads and some new intersections. They're making them more real to life. Some of the intersections because they have more room to work with.
Audiobooks.
If you weren't driving long enough, you can now drive 20% longer.
It's fine the way it is. They just need to get more states in there.
I think that I was reading that they're doing this now because they're getting ready to start doing that. And a lot of people,
Their European map is massive.
a lot of people I heard were complaining they didn't think the size looked.
Proper.
Yeah,
Scale
it
wasn't
didn't.
right.
It didn't feel right. Yeah, so they were happy about they were changing the scale for free. Like they weren't going to give it away for free too. How could they do that and not give it away for free? It would fuck with everybody's game who already owned it.
Remember, there's other companies that do that kind of stuff.
Probably.
And a lot of the simulator games do charge a lot for DLC and fixes and stuff like that.
It's usually where they make their bread and butter, honestly. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the one thing is, it'll probably fuck with people who are modding the game.
Probably.
We have
I
not
would assume.
sung Happy Birthday yet, Anti.
I don't think we will.
We're not going to do that
We're
because
not
we're
gonna do
fucking adults, right?
We said happy birthday. That was
We're gonna put a sombrero
Mr.
on
President.
Where's my sombrero? Where's my sombrero?
Birthday.
Wait.
Yeah, he's going to do it as claptrap.
All right, next.
So we talked about. Well, I think it was last week or the week before. We talked about Vivendi starting what looks like a hostile takeover of Ubisoft, and there was a press release, which they have to do a press release in I think it's France, that they have increased their stakes in Ubisoft to 20.1% and their share that's a share of capital and a 17.76% of voting rights. And they look to be moving towards a takeover. At 30%, they need to make a takeover bid. So we're moving slowly towards Ubisoft being owned by Vivendi. And I mean, some people are complaining. I guess Vivendi has done some shady shit in the past. But it's some interesting goings-ons.
Word.
Yeah.
Word, my friend.
Final Fantasy 15 is going to be featuring over 100 hours of gameplay. I wonder if that's just main storyline. I'm assuming
No,
that's
main
everything
storyline is-
total.
If you actually just focus on main storyline, they said it would be a little bit slower.
Yeah.
But they're since this is a new Final Fantasy where they're breaking the roots of traditional Final Fantasies and more westernizing the open world aspect, where once you finish like a few portions of the beginning of the game, there are side quests. You can do basically anything. You can travel the world.
So it's Final Fantasy,
Skyrim.
Morrowind.
Yes.
Final Fantasy Scrolls. There we go. We'll call it Final Fantasy Scrolls.
This is what I'm going off from what I understand and like get from it, but I'm interested to see. But I'm not gonna buy on release like I was originally gonna do. I'm gonna wait and see like if it comes down like 6 months down the line, a year down the line for the PC release, where it will run probably much smoother. Because they said if they do a PC release, it will be built from the ground up, like getting everything to fit with PC and adding content that they couldn't put on the console because of limitation.
I just think it's going to be funny because if they're going with that open world game, that means that it's actually going to have less content, and it's just going to be more time traveling.
From what I've heard read a lot of the people that actually got to play it, they said there is still a lot of content in the game.
There's a lot of shit ton of content in Skyrim, and there's really very little
Oh,
to
yeah.
storyline.
There's what was it? You have different forms of travel. Of course, your car, chocobos, walking, and eventually, of course, in every Final Fantasy, near the end of the game, you get an airship. Other than that,
Or
they also have quick travel, like in Skyrim and everything, to campsites you have already previously visited. So.
It worries me whenever I hear a game talking about gameplay time, because usually that means it's a lot of padding. So we'll see.
Fallout.
Yeah.
Anyhow,
Open world and wow, we have a lot of game time usually means that it's a lot of shit that there's no reason to do it. It's crap.
well, we won't know until it actually gets released. It's actually sounds a lot better and looks a lot better than when 13 was released, because 13 was only promised, I think, like 30 hours of gameplay, and honestly, I think 25 of the hours was video. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
I'll probably be streaming it eventually, but yeah.
When is it coming out? Do you know? The release
September
date?
30th is the actual release date, and they're not planning to push it back. Everything is going smoothly and ahead of schedule.
Is it simultaneous worldwide release?
Last I checked, yes.
Okay. I
But
don't
hold me
know
to
why
that
companies. I don't know why companies would ever do the, different dates in different countries. It seems bizarre
Well,
to me.
Square did that a couple times with their other titles, so where it releases in Japan first and then releases over in States, but that's usually because of translation. So
Yeah, but also the digital world as it is now, it's a totally different, beast. A lot of the times they just now pick a part on the plan and then go, it's going to open for release at this point. Because there's no point with a digital release, there's no point in waiting 12 hours to release it, because in the past, the only reason they did that was because the only place you could get it was at an actual retailer, and that meant you had to wait till the retailer actually opened their doors, and then the retailer started going, we're going to open at midnight so we can release it at 12:01 a.m., and you can come get your first copy. And with digital, it's kind of like, what's the point? I already have the game preloaded on my computer. I'm just waiting for you to send me the code to unlock it. So and
most of the time you already have the code. You're just waiting for the
servers to verify. Yep.
Steam to say like, okay, you're good.
Yep. So there's no need for a staggered release now. In the back in the day there was, but now it's kind of
And also, like with JRPGs and Square and other Atlas game titles, translation has also been cut down immensely. There are still some games that don't get moved over until months later, sometimes years later. But the bigger title named ones get moved over or get published and produced and pushed out the same day as Japan gets it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because they're actually seeing that Western market actually exist.
Yeah.
All right. So the last little bit of news I have, and this is something that I had apparently this has been going on for a long time, and I had no idea about it. But if you don't know what G2A is, they will take your game codes that you can get through like the Humble Bundle and stuff like that, and you can resell them for some money. And apparently, and this comes from a post from the producer's Tiny Build, that G2A has been selling stolen keys from them. So somebody will get a stolen credit card, buy keys from Tiny Build, and then they get them. The transactions get what's it called? Chargebacked. So they lose out on the money on the key, and then these people are taking those keys and selling them on G2A. G2A doesn't seem to give a shit about it. Apparently they sold $450,000 worth of keys from Tiny Build. And when they asked G2A to try and do something about it, G2A said, sure, we'll do something if you work with us exclusively. So some pretty shitty things going on here. That's worse than pirating as far as I'm concerned, because they're getting...
You weren't allowed to resell the keys that you got from Humble Bundle and stuff.
Well, it could be from something else, other things.
It's extortion is what that is.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, why would they care? Because they're making money off the deal.
The law is not really defined for this. That's the problem. You're not really. It's law. It's new law. That's the best thing I could say. It's not really a tangible good. You're selling a digital. You're selling nothing.
Yeah, but you're being a fucking
yeah, but you can't.
asshole.
You're a fucking dick, but it doesn't matter because there's no law to say you can't be a fucking dick.
eBay got rid of these because it was such a shitty situation. You can't sell digital goods anymore on eBay because people were getting screwed, and they were like, no. And there's probably legal things in here too.
With that, eBay was starting to get sued by the companies because, like Blizzard, for example, shit, I sold a Warcraft account way back in the day. Blizzard basically was going nuts over the fact that people were selling shit on the game. Blizzard was not mad at people doing it. Blizzard was pissed they weren't getting a piece of the action. That's why the Diablo 3 fucking fiasco happened with the fucking real warehouse or auction house in that game.
Look where that went.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like
They knew that was a bad idea.
they knew it was a bad idea, but they thought they could make a profit off of it. So that's the issue wasn't that the auction house existed. The issue was they deliberately programmed the game to drop items that weren't good for your character to drive the auction house. So if you were playing a monk, barbarian shit would drop, or whatever other class of the game would drop. That way you'd be forced to sell your shit and go to the auction house to buy shit for your character, and then they'd get a piece of the action.
And then bots hit the Diablo 3 servers, and the actual real money auction house went to shit.
Yeah. So, I mean, but it's shit. There's always been digital sales in gaming. I remember back in the day playing Ultima Online. We're talking like 2000, 1999, 2000. I know a guy who bought a house selling shit. I mean, an actual house in real life. Bought a house off of shit he was selling in Ultima Online through eBay. But it's like, it's buyer beware. I mean, granted, there's people. The thing is that there's probably legal action that they can take and try to sue G2A, saying that G2A is basically committing fraud, like Torrance said. They're basically selling stolen goods.
Yeah, they are. That is what it is.
But G2A can basically plead ignorance to a point and say, well, we didn't realize. How are we supposed to verify something is stolen? If we're given a key, that key is basically supposed to be legitimate. So it's not G2A's fault that they're selling something that's not real. It's the company's fault for not verifying that the credit card is invalid. You know what I mean? Or however
it's valid up until they use it, and then the people realize that their card number is stolen, and by that point it's too late. And one of the things people were saying was, well, why doesn't Tiny Build do something about this? And apparently they're just so small that they just don't have the funds. Everything's done automatically. They don't have the funds to be able to do something like Activision. I think has had done times where they do chunks of, and they check them to make sure that they're legitimate. And then if they not, then they get rid of the key code so that it can't be sold.
But see, this is the problem that goes with that. Is like somebody gets a credit card, buys a game, takes that code, sells it on G2A. And then they take the cash and they run, right? G2A then sells that code to say, Ubone. Okay, you're technically buying stolen goods at that point in time. You don't realize it. You're just buying a game on G2A.
Right.
Right? If they cancel that, G2A basically means they got to technically pay you back. All right? Because G2A is the acting as the proxy. It's like a pawn shop. If somebody takes stolen goods and sells it at a pawn shop, the pawn shop can get in serious trouble for selling goods that are stolen. But they have to prove the fact that they know the goods were stolen. All right. If the pawn shop's unaware that they were selling stolen goods, it's kind of gray area. It really, really is a nasty fucking clusterfuck. But I don't know if G2A can say they're necessarily. If they know they're buying stolen goods, then G2A can be held extremely accountable for it. But if they're unaware, then I think it's bullshit going, you have to only sell stuff through us. That's kind of like, wow. But on the other hand, it's solidified. It would be a partnership that would guarantee that nothing could be pirated, which to say. You know what I mean? Like, you couldn't do it.
Let's sell them straight to G2A and just avoid the problem altogether.
Yeah, I mean, so it's like, that's a real clusterfuck, but I don't know if there's any legal grounds for it. Because it's like I said, G2A can just plead ignorance. How are we supposed to know that a guy selling a code did so illegally? It's not like they're doing a background check or checking how that code was obtained.
Yeah, they may not
have a digital receipt.
Yeah.
Even if you have a digital receipt, as Bone has said, it's taking time for them to realize the card is stolen. This is not necessarily something that's happening overnight. It might be something that happens 2 months down the line.
Yeah.
After that, G2A's already got the code, already paid the guy who stole it, and has already probably sold the game. So what are they going to do? Say that, Bone's playing, say it was Warcraft, and all of a sudden his account gets banned because the code he bought was stolen. How is that fair for the guy who ends up buying the code? He doesn't realize he's buying something illegal.
They may not know it's stolen, but they're certainly complicit in what's going on.
Yeah, they're without a doubt. But like I said, you have to prove they know they're buying something stolen.
Yeah.
And that's very difficult to do in a digital fucking.
It's certainly a shitty situation for the publishers. There are more legitimate places out there that do check the codes apparently before they sell them. So there are other alternatives out there. But there's a lot of freaking streamers out there that have G2A on their scrolling. So they got some serious money that they're throwing around.
Yeah, look,
Other that ban or like don't use it because of that.
Torrent's staying
a lot of people
quiet
are
because
dropping
Torrent
them.
gets most of his shit through G2A. So it's just.
What the hell, man?
There are
If you
alternatives.
get the European one, you get the update a day early. I've been telling you guys this for how long? No,
I'm
but
just
I
saying.
don't want to
It's-
support them if that's the kind of business they're doing.
Yeah, there's alternatives out there.
I'm glad
It's a
you said
real
something about
slippery
it.
slope. Let's put it that way.
I haven't bought a game there in a long time though, so
And always keep in mind that when you're dealing with digital stuff on the internet, there's really not a lot of case law. There's not a lot of things where companies can do this kind of shit because there's not a lot of laws set.
Electronic world is
Yeah, and just because America goes, this is a law, doesn't mean shit if the company's based overseas because they're not held to the same standard. So, or vice versa. Just because it might be illegal in the UK doesn't mean it's illegal in the United States. So there's not really a universal global law for a lot of this shit. It's whatever you can do to get away with it. So,
all right then.
Okay.
That's all I got. We're playing some Terraria.
Hell yeah.
Torn Soul says no.
I think we should let Torn pick the game.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah.
yeah, it's your birthday, Torn, yeah.
You say
Give a
it's your
shit, just pick
birthday.
something. I'm not playing Terraria though.
Mr. President.
If you don't pick the game
Mr.
within like 5 seconds, we'll start saying happy birthday.
Happy
Okay.
birthday.
Shit!
You're the one that promised it, Benton, so you gotta
No.
do it.
Just play some whatever. It don't matter. I'll watch you guys play Terraria for a bit.
No.
and play Overwatch.
No, man, we're playing what you want to play. It's your
All
birthday.
right.
Oh,
Well,
shut
we'll
up,
we'll,
man.
we'll figure it out.
Around 43 years, not fucking 6. Reward me for it being the day I was
Are
burned.
you one? Are you two?
Play Terraria for a bit, and then we'll play some Overwatch or some party games or something.
I've got party games to go.
I got Super Fight for Steam, the actual Super Fight game and everything. So that might be interesting to try out. Not the tabletop version.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
We'll be back in 5-10
It
minutes
actually
either
might
way.
run smoother.
We'll play something. Thanks for watching. Check us out on YouTube. We're the Nightly Grind. Our website is thenightligrind.tv. We have Twitter, which is the Nightly Grind. We have a Facebook, and I think that's all of our things, right? We stream every Friday, usually at 8. We may be switching to 9 for the summer. We haven't discussed that yet. And then throughout the week. Usually it's starting around 8 and going for the rest of the night. Sometimes we start a little earlier, depending on who's off and when. But definitely check us out again and follow if you have not already. Thank you.
Bye.